Okay, we'll start with the beginning, the opening statement from the prosecutor. This was the prosecutor, Jerry Blackwell.
You're going to learn in this case a lot about what it means to be a public servant and to have the honor of wearing this badge. It's a small badge that carries with it a large responsibility and a large accountability to the public. What does it stand for? It represents the very motto of the Minneapolis Police Department: to protect with courage, to serve with compassion. But it also represents the essence of the Minneapolis Police Department approach to the use of force against its citizens when appropriate. A sanctity of life and the protection of the public shall be the cornerstones of the Minneapolis Police Department's use of force. Compassion, sanctity of life, cornerstones, and that little badge is worn right over the officer's heart. But you're also going to learn that the officers take an oath when they become police officers. They take an oath that I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately, and as you will learn, as applies to this case, never employing unnecessary force or violence. And not only that, I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of police service. Symbol of public faith, ethics to police service, sanctity of life, all of this matters tremendously to this case, because you will learn that on May 25th of 2020, Mr. Derek Chauvin betrayed this badge when he used excessive and unreasonable force upon the body of Mr. George Floyd.
Okay, so that was part of the opening statement. This is the other really important part of the opening statement by the prosecution. This is, again, the he's the Special Assistant Attorney General, Jerry Blackwell. Or not.
So we learn here that Mr. Floyd at some point is completely passed out. Mr. Chauvin continues on as he had. Knee on the neck, knee on the back. You'll see he does not let up and he does not get up. For the remaining, as you can see, 3 minutes and 51 seconds. During this period of time, you will learn that Mr. Chauvin is told that they can't even find the pulse of Mr. Floyd. You learn he's told that twice. They can't even find the pulse. You will be able to see for yourself what he does in response. You will see that he does not let up and that he does not get up.
He does not let up and he does not get up. All right, here is the defense argument in a nutshell. This is the defense attorney for Derek Chauvin, Eric Nelson.
The evidence will show that Mr. Floyd died of a cardiac arrhythmia that occurred as a result of hypertension, his coronary disease, the ingestion of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and the adrenaline flowing through his body, all of which acted to further compromise an already compromised heart.
Oh, God. So you can see what the defense is now, right? Okay. The prosecution is, they've already shown the video in there as part of their opening statement. They've shown the video of Derek Chauvin being killed, being murdered. The defense then stood up and said, oh no, the knee on the neck and the suffocation of this man had nothing to do with why he died. No, he died because he had high blood pressure and early heart disease. Okay, and he had ingested meth and fentanyl, and that's what killed him. Had nothing to do with Derek Chauvin standing on his neck with his knee. Nothing at all. All right, so we had the first witness today. The first witness that was called was Jenna Scurry. Jenna Scurry was the 911 dispatcher on duty that day. And she gave a very lengthy testimony because, you know, you have to qualify a witness in this way. You have to say what they do, and you have to get them on the record explaining how they do it, how many, you know, video screens do you have in front of you, and what's the normal day for you like, and how long did it take you to get trained to do this job, and are you comfortable in this job? And, you know, so anyway, her answers were, it took her 3 years to get comfortable being a 911 dispatcher. There was an enormous amount of training that goes into it. No, she's not a police officer. However, she's been doing this for 7 years. She has all these different screens, 7 of them, around her. And what she can see on those screens are the positions of police officers, who's free, who's not free. And sometimes she can actually see incidents. She can see the cameras from the police cars. And sometimes she sees nothing, just people walking by. But sometimes she can look up and see the actual incident. She can see what the police are responding to. That was the case here. She was able to look up at the screen and see the police officers responding to the call that she dispatched them to at Cups Food, right? She could see what was going on outside. And what she saw made her believe that the screen and the video was actually frozen, because it went on for 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and nothing was moving. Okay, nothing was changing. There was a man on the ground and a police officer sitting on him. And so she thought that the video was frozen. And then she realized, oh, no, it's not frozen. Things are moving. And she actually called the sergeant who was on duty. Apparently in Minneapolis, each district, each precinct has an on-duty sergeant, at least one. And when she saw what was going on, and she said she thought the screen was frozen, and then realized, oh no, they're just standing on this man. They're just sitting on top of this man. She called the sergeant on duty, and she said, look, you can say I'm a snitch. She actually used that word. But I got to tell you, there's something that just doesn't look right on this call that I just dispatched officers to answer. So here's her testimony.
What did you think about this when you looked back and saw that it hadn't changed?
I first asked if the screens had frozen.
Why did you ask that?
Because it hadn't changed.
Okay. And did you find that it had frozen?
No.
How did
well,
you
I was told that it was not frozen.
Did you see the screen change yourself?
Yes, I saw the persons moving.
So what did you start thinking at that point?
Something might be wrong.
Why?
We don't get these videos often, or, video at all, unless it's looking at the bridge or just looking at people walking. We very rarely get incidents where police are actively on a scene. And they had changed. They had come from the back of the squad to the ground, and my instincts were telling me that something's wrong. Something is not right. I don't know what, but something wasn't right.
Her instinct as a 7-year 911 dispatcher told her that something was wrong with the response to this call that she dispatched police officers to.